Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is David Burton with Rootstock. I want to thank you for joining our webinar today on bills of material and Rootstock. We will start our session in just a couple of minutes. So please just relax and we'll be right back with you. Thank you. Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our monthly Rootstock marketing webinar. This month's topic is bills of material, and our speaker today will be Carrie Nordell, who's the Senior Solution Architect with Rootstock. Before we jump in, I did just want to mention one item of housekeeping. If you have any questions as we go through the session today, please feel free to use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen and submit those questions. We'll answer them online if at all possible. If it's something that gets more complex or requires more information, we have your email addresses captured, and we'll certainly follow up with you after the session. So without further ado, Carrie, I'm going to turn it over to you for today's topic.
Thank you, David. And again, I will thank you all for joining as well. We have a pretty full packed 30 minutes coming up. I'm going to start with Rootstock ERP fundamentals. Just in case there's some of you that this is the first time you're looking at Rootstock, I think it's important kind of set a foundation. Then diving into BOM management, and then part of the demo, and then we'll finish up. Again, if you have any additional questions, you can post there in the chat. So fundamentals, I mean, this applies not only to ERP, but, being on the Salesforce platform, Salesforce really figured out how not to make CRM hard. And it's the same thing with Rootstock and ERP. So what the platform allows you to do is really, design your ERP, design your screens like you do your iPhone. Right. So on your iPhone, you've got that security, you've got that user experience, you're connected to the apps that you want to be connected to, you've got the functions that you want to. And then again, just whatever you need as it changes, as you need to add apps, remove apps, you're allowed to do that on your iPhone. Or again, I'm an iPhone person, maybe it's your Samsung, okay, or other device. Well, Rootstock being on the Salesforce platform provides the same user experience, the same ease of use. So Rootstock has the apps that you're seeing there with order management, engineering, through to, the supply chain. And the fact that it's built on the Salesforce platform gives you that user experience that may be functional. Maybe you have it as a functional experience, or maybe it's defined as a user, but you've got that single model, again, the single model security, and then the automation that you expect, again, from your smart device. And the underlying security is there as well. So you never have to worry about, the breaches and am I losing data here or there? It's just, again, the platform has that security. And then along with it, you've got your dashboards. You can go anywhere. So it's on the, the screens are going to be displayed on the desktop or again on that mobile device. The defined user experience, a single data model. You got the flow automation, collaborate again, just with your phone. If you're collaborating, texting back and forth with the platform, you're able to collaborate between users. Okay, so inventory with quality control, and then you got your analytics. And then top it off with being on the platform, you've got the largest app exchange library out there that not only, again, with Salesforce, with CRM expansions, but also with ERP. So if you want a specific PLM application, pull that right in. Or if it's a quality, additional quality control that you want, just pull that in as well. So that's a little bit on the platform. Now, again, kind of a foundation for BOM management. So within Rootstock ERP, you do build bills of material at a single level. My background is I was with Oracle, and I've been with SAP as well, and Salesforce. But it's the same concept there, that it's a single level bill of material. You have your manufactured item, which also you're going to see in just a minute is your engineering master item, and then your components that are contained within that top level. Talking again, before we go into the demo, we need to kind of have some terminology here. So the bill of material, you have your engineering item master. You're going to see that as EIM through not only the PowerPoints, but also in the demo part of it. And that is the item that's being revised. That is the item also that has the components. That's the item that's going to have the routing. The revision identifier is specific to that item. If you have an item that is under revision control, the very first number is going to be the 6 zeros. So that's a default from the system. After that, then you're able to assign that, assign that different format. You're going to see at the bottom that it could be numeric or it could be alphanumeric. And then it's a sequential, revision number. So it's a unique identifier that, again, once you get through the 6 zeros, you're going to be able to define. Okay, and just to illustrate again that the engineering item master is the top level, your bill of material, and then your components are underneath that. Okay, so we're going to focus a lot today on, again, the revision control and the ECO capabilities within Rootstock. I'm going to point out a few additional bill of material features that are out there. But the engineering revision is we said it 3 times or 4 times now on the engineering item master, and that it is anytime that you're making adjustments to either the BOM or the routing. And it's important to keep in mind that that's going to be a timestamp on when that change is made. So you can always go back and forward to see what was that bill of material, that routing at the time before or after that date. Now, what's important with, again, the revision functionality is not only can, as I just said, that you can do inquiries and reports based on that revision, but also MR planning. So if MRP planning is going to be going on the current revision. And again, the effective dates of the components for the planning purposes. So if you want to phase in, you might have a revision out there that is pending, and you want to phase in those components in the future. Well, until you can go ahead and do that planning, but until they're actually in an implemented state, it's not the official revision at the time. Again, work orders are going off of the implemented revision. And again, the standard cost roll up. So I kind of flew over the one screen where you saw what the different apps that are included, functional areas that are included in the Rootstock footprint. I think it's, we take bills of materials sometimes just for granted, but they apply to, again, cost roll-ups. So what is, what's my cost roll-up for a different revision? And it packs supply chain, right? So your bill of material is, what are the components that we need to actually plan and we need to procure? As far as quality, the bill of material, what are the quality items that need to be inspected? So the BOM really goes across the entire footprint of Rootstock ERP solution. Okay. Just an illustration of, again, the revisions. So what you're looking at to the right-hand side is that there are four, original 6 to 6 zeros, 4 different revisions to this bill of material. We started off with the first revision that had component A and operation 10. Then it switched to, we had revision 0001, where component B and C were added to the bill of material, and the operation 20 was added. Okay, those were both implemented. And then you have revision 2, which actually released, and that was when component D was added, and operation 130. Now, revision 3 is out there. It's probably for planning purposes, and it does include, again, E and operation 40, but it's not in, again, that's a future state. It's still in release number 2, or revision number 2. So why is revision so important? And just kind of a little bit of a levity here. So it's, the Spartacus moment. It's like, I'm revision F, no, I'm revision F. It's just, if you don't have a revision control and you're making changes to your BOMs and your routings, there is no history, there is no tracking. It's anybody's guess on, what the history is and what we're planning in the future. So now that we're going to incorporate some talk about ECOs. So the options that you have within Rootstock is that, and this is at the division level, by the way. So is you have an item, an engineering change, an item can either cannot have ECOs, engineering change control, and not be under revision control, or it can be under revision control, but not under engineering change control, or it can be under both. Now, just a little bit talk about what it is. If it's not revision control and it's not ECO controlled, then you can just add BOMs, you can change routings, you can change quantities, you can do whatever you want. And there is no history of, what's being changed as far as like reporting capabilities. You always have history of who's making a change, but you can't go back and report on what those changes were specifically to, like a BOM and a routing. Okay. Now the second one, so revision control is active, but ECOs are not active. Okay. In that case, you're starting with your original engineering item, and the revision is going to allow you to make a change to the BOM or the routing. And that's being reflected in number 2. Now, the status of the bill of material is tied to the status of the revision. Okay, once that status of the revision gets changed, it gets released and then it gets implemented. But it's always the revision that's controlling what the status is, as opposed to the next scenario where revision control is active and engineering change control is active. In that case, everything is being controlled, again, by the ECO. So it starts out with your bill of material, you have your ECO, so it goes into a pending status. And then as you're making the changes to the BOMs and the routings, then again, the ECO is controlling the release, and then it's implemented based on that effectivity date. And then you've got that full history at the ECO header. Now, reasons, with ECOs is it's another level of control. It goes through additional, approval processes. And again, it's tying everything up at a very tighter, tighter control level. Okay, with that, so let's jump in and see what it looks like in the system. Now, again, a fundamental, because I don't know the history of everybody that's on the webinar here. So I'm going to assume just for a couple minutes here that this is the first time maybe that somebody has seen, they haven't worked with Salesforce before. They're not familiar with the platform, the Salesforce platform that Rootstock is built on. So going to look just a little bit of a look and feel. I'm on a home page. So what's really powerful within the platform is that I'm able, just like my iPhone, I'm able to design, what my page looks like. And it's all based on what is the information, what do I do during my day? How can I get to that critical, the critical information that I need so I can design my screen. And I'm just going to just really quickly, this one was designed for, again, engineering. If I wanted to switch over and for either maybe a functional area or a specific person, maybe this is an executive that doesn't want to just focus on engineering, but wants to take a look at, inventories and valuations, margins, purchasing, sales, production. So, very different look and feel. And it's based on, again, what does that specific person or functional area need to be the most efficient during their day? Now I'm just going to switch back real quickly to our engineering page and talk about, again, just a little bit different pieces of the page. So I've got, analytics. So, you want to, add a visual, what's happening. If I'm, suddenly I'm seeing a bunch of pending ECOs coming through, then I want a visual of that. I want to see how many have been implemented. And then you can always drill down into the reports that are behind the analytics. Then there's list views. So in the middle here is, I want to see kind of like a report. So it's a live report that I can go in and just, scroll through, drill through. I'm interested in what are the parts, the items out there that are going through the greatest, revision changes. Maybe I need to look at that. Why does a single product have 10 revisions to it? Maybe it makes sense, but maybe it doesn't. And then the bottom, looking at the ECOs. So again, I have these list views. I have analytics on the right-hand side. I've got basically like a task list. So I want to know, which items are coming through that I need to approve. Don't make me go someplace else, just pop it up right here. I've got quick actions here in the middle. So I could add those. And again, maybe we have a new opportunity out there and there's a new bill of material, new project build for that. So maybe I want to keep my opportunities, close to, again, what my engineering BOMs are. Okay. So again, just a little bit on look and feel. Let's jump right into an engineering item master. So over here on the left-hand side, again, there's a specific engineering master that I want to take a look at. And I could do, again, so it's a report, but it's an actionable report. So I selected one engineering item here on the cabinet frame, and I'm provided with tons of information. Some are specific to, the bill of material, as far as it being a manufactured item and such. We did see that there's 10 revisions to it, but I can also look at the indented BOM. So again, not only the front screen is written for and designed for ease of use, but even the individual objects are there for ease of use and getting to the information that you need. So looking at the indented BOM, I'm just going to explode. Go ahead and click on the plus there. And now I'm looking at, all of the components as of this date. So to remember, the revisions and the ECOs are all tied, to a specific date. And I can even go and say, okay, I just want to see, the items that are implemented or not. And that's important because let's just again, kind of scroll through here and you can see all the different components that are to this bill of material, multi-level bill of material. But if I change this, let's just change this to August, 2020. And if I refresh that, so now I can't see it's just a single level bill of material. So I have history to, again, what is it? What was the bill of material 2 years ago or 1 year ago. And what is the bill of material? I guess I put 22 in there, and I could go into the future if there was, all of these have been already released. But if I had a BOM out there that was more of a planning BOM, I can go into the future and say, okay, I want the effectivity date of that revision is going to be in 2024. And I could see that, yeah, I want to see those that are not implemented, and it's going to give me that full list. Okay. Now, as far as modifying bills of material, then it's very easy that you could just come over here and add or edit. Now, in this case, it's not going to let me do anything because this item is under revision control. So it would either throw me an error, or it's going to go ahead and pop up a message, go ahead and have your users, which is really great, powerful thing that you can say, you can't do that because, and you can build that into the system. All right, let's just jump back to our home page. And while I'm up here at the top, we're not going to go into it today, but there's definitely, the functionality about mass adding. So again, or mass replace that, there is, you've done an engineering redesign, on, or maybe there was a, on an item that you want to go ahead and, or a component, you're switching a component that you can go ahead and do just a mass replace that component on all the bills of material that have that component. So again, not going into that today, but just wanted to point it out. And then as far as, ECO, so that was revision control up there. We did see in our chart that there was one pending ECO. So I'm going to just go and, just to pop over here to an edit of the ECO. And, what are the pieces there? Well, it hasn't been released or implemented yet. And that's why, there's no dates there. ECO reasons. So for reporting purposes, these are going to be, you'll design these or define these at implementation. And, again, it's for reporting and grouping those different ECOs. And then again, pending, right now we're in a pending, it would go to released and then implemented. And again, you can build your approval processes around your ECOs. Let me see, there's so much that I can get to, and I know I just have a couple more minutes here. As far as maybe, adding, I'm going to go just a different view of adding a bill of material. This is a very simple screen, but I did want to point out a couple different features and restrictions because this item, I'm just going to go ahead and just select I created a new BOM item specifically for the webinar, and it defaulted in that revision. So this item is under revision control. I cannot create a bill of material without having a revision, and that's the only option I have. Now, down here, it's a different view of how to add a component. And doing this because I just want to, if I start with the C, very easy that you can just start typing and it's going to go out there and find everything that starts with a C. So again, ease of use. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. And this time I'm going to do an S just to talk about subcontract. So you can have kits on your bill of material. And so it's one item that then will have all the items below that. You can also have subcontract items on a bill of material. So just want to point that out. Also reference designators if you've got your drawing and you want to reference that, and scrap and setup quantities, quantities as well. So again, lots of power within the Rootstock bill of material. Last thing I'm going to point out is just the difference between, we've been talking about bills of material that are out there and the changes to them. Haven't really talked about, kind of a little bit different story is the as built and as maintained. So once you've actually built the product, Rootstock tracks what's happened to that product. And just, I think this is just really great, great functionality. I'm going to click through these just to the point where you can see the actual item that has been replaced. So you see this little bubble over here then in the maintain. So this is taking the original bill of material, and then as changes are happening to it after it's been built, you've got full visibility of that. So with that, I'm just going to switch back over to the PowerPoint and, talk about, this was, again, very quick view, intro into bills of material revisions and ECOs. There's lots of information out there. There's lots of support. Again, areas where you could gain additional knowledge. You've got the trailheads, again, Salesforce. You've done Salesforce, the Salesforce trailheads. There are the Rootstock trailheads out there. There's professional services. We have customer success groups and communities. And then there's the Rootstock Learning Center. Just an example of like the success community. If you just, again, go ahead and Google it. All of these are additional articles that are out there regarding bills of material and ECO specifically. And in addition to that, if you want additional more information on, again, ERP and bills of material, these are some additional sources for you. And I think that we just wanted to leave about 5 minutes for some Q&A or answering some questions that came through. All right,
So,
David.
Carrie, this is David. There are no questions in the chat line right now, so I think we can go ahead and wrap it up if you've covered everything you want to cover.
I have. Well, again, I want to thank you all very much, and I look forward to the next webinar. Have a great day.